Hello, hello, hello. Do we have a delay? Do we have clarity? Do we have good internet connection? Isn't that the trifecta here? Hold on a second. Learning still, learning still. And I have to say what a growth experience this has been for me, learning so much about this technology. And I have to share that last night, oh, actually, this might work to my benefit. So I had the craziest thing happen to me last night. I was putting the finishing touches on the playbook for today, and I was working outside because it was a beautiful day. I like to be in the vibration of nature when I'm creating things for you all. And I got a phone call. So I stepped inside to take the call, went to the bathroom, stepped out only to find that it was raining outside, and it was raining on my computer. So I didn't even rush to get it because it had only begun. And yeah, so I go out and grab my computer, and there was just a little bit of rain on it. But apparently that's all it takes for a computer to go awry, is just a little bit of rain, a little bit of moisture that goes in there. So water and electricity really don't mix so well. And so it took the bulk of last night till about 9:30 to get it restored back to the point that it is. Oh, you probably can't hear me, or I can't hear you. That's what it is. So we got it restored. I was on with the Geek Squad, thank God. We're infinitely supported, guys. But what's happened is that I cannot hear you. So I am actually going to log on myself to this meeting, 550-350-1626, so that I can hear you from my phone. So it's been a crazy ride. It's been something that happens for all of us when we have that idea that it's time for us to step into a bigger sense of ourselves. We get to revisit a lot of these. I guess I don't need this on video. We get to revisit all the old stuff is going to come up, all those old messages. So let me see. Can I have a little reverb here until I figure out where and then the other thing is that I can't toggle between windows very easily. So the bottom part of my screen, you should see this, is almost unusable. But there's always a way, guys. We keep the focus, we keep taking those steps in the direction of our dreams, and eventually we get to figure this all out. So welcome to day 5. And this is the day we're going to bring it all together. We've covered a lot, and I know a lot of this stuff that we've been talking about is actually just really great reminders of some of the things that you all already know. We're talking in terms of manifestation and this kind of thing. Hold on, I'm going to turn this down so it's not reverbing. Yes, we're talking in terms of how to manifest your dreams. So today manifesting in accelerated ways. So it was really ideal. Yesterday, a friend of mine did a post on Facebook, and it said you can change. Isn't it satisfying to know that you can change your life in 1 year? And I was like, that would really piss me off. Is it going to take a year for me to change my life? Because if you've been on with us, one of my favorite sayings is that transformation can happen at the speed of awareness. And I truly believe that it's really the awareness, like we're doing the same things we've always done. We're getting the same outcomes we've always had. When we get, okay. When we get to that point, there we go. Thank you, Casey. When we get to that point of that we're clear that it's time for us to change, we get a clear decision. We become resolute that no other way will happen. I shared my story about the repeating pattern with all the fellows that I was dating, that because I was close-hearted, they were showing up close-hearted, and time again they left. That day when I got to that moment, it's time, and this absolutely has to change. I can't continue to live like this. And so that's another element of getting to this space where we choose 100%. This is the way it's going to be. No other, whatever it's going to take. Oftentimes we talked about the anatomy of a calling. Sometimes these callings come up at times when you just don't know how that's going to happen. It needs to change. This can't continue on the way it's been. Oftentimes we don't know how that's going to change, but here's the beautiful thing about manifestation is that you don't need to know how. You don't need to know how. We just need to know what it is that we want and begin to take the steps in that direction. But what happens when we do that is all the old tickies, the thoughts, the old beliefs, the limiting, those emotions. Oftentimes we've had those emotions in our childhood days that are still resonating in the background there. And these are the limiting thoughts that are running in our subconscious. We talked about how this conscious is only the 10%. It's 10% of everything that's running the show. 90% is what's happening there in the subconscious. And so we need to do a little excavation process. We need to go back and recognize where are those old patterns. And here's the thing, guys, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly evolving. And so when like me with this is the next iteration of my work. So I'm so thrilled to have created the type of work that I do with women, recognizing I kept wanting to help women to get transformation in their lives so they could be the best they can be, because I love women. We are so powerful and we are the change agents that the world needs right now, and it's time for us. That's why the Limitless Women Rising is the name of the Facebook group. This is time for all of us to come together and shine for one another, recognizing that I see myself in you. Joan, you are resourceful, and I'm just so excited for the new possibilities. Lee, you show up everywhere so authentically you, and brighten the room when you walk in. Like, we need one another right now to shine. As Joan turns her video off. I know she's getting ready for work, so we probably don't want to see all that, but yeah, there's those times we just need to be that reflection for one another, because we oftentimes just don't do it for ourselves, do we? And the very best thing you can do for one another is to just give that little upliftment to one another. There's a superpower that comes together when we create with the power of intention. There's the individual intention that we have. So now, my life is going to change, and you maybe got this calling. And Joan, I'm just going to use your beautiful example of, there's a little whisper, she loves food, she loves travel, she loves culture, she loves bringing together people in community. And it starts out as kind of this obscure, like, how would these pieces even fit together? And what would that look like? I'm not even clear on what this would be. But when we come together in a community and everybody brings their perspectives, their experiences, their resources, their previous crash and burns, we bring it all to the table. When we come together, like in a mastermind type of an environment, we're able to reflect back for one another those places that we can't see for ourselves, those blocks that might be hidden, but we also bring those other possibilities, those pathways, those opportunities that might be right in front of us that we can't see ourselves, because we've been kind of in the habit of being ourselves for too long, and we can't see sometimes the stuff that's right here. The other powerful thing I think that, and I just want to applaud you all for showing up, taking your time and your energy to show up here, because when we do, we're wanting to find the truth of what it is that's been holding us back. And so sometimes when we rely just only on friends and family, they're either in two kind of ways. And a lot of women, it's fascinating when I bring these small groups together. A lot of women, I'm surprised to hear, it's been a long time since they've had really good, deep, intimate relationships that they can trust with other girlfriends. And it's time for us to rekindle that. A true girlfriend is one of those, I say, they'll tell you when you got the green stuff between your teeth. They'll tell you the hard and fast truth. That pattern you mentioned before that you wanted to try to break through, it's happening. It's happening again. So, like, nip it in the bud. Oftentimes, actually, my business coach just caught me in one of those yesterday. That's why we pay people to have that expert outer vision, that perspective for us to be able to call us on our shit when it comes up. And we all have shit. If you are striving for something new and bigger and different, and why wouldn't we be? Because that's what brings us fully alive. I believe that's why we're here, is to become that next evolution of who you came to be. And so you're pretty darn amazing as you are. And the reason we're here right now is there's some calling for a change in life somehow, something a little bigger, a little better perhaps than what we've been experiencing. I just want to tune in. Could you all maybe drop something in the chat? What I'd like to see is what area in your life are you looking? Oops, echo. Is it still echoing, Joan? Okay. What area in your life is it that you are looking to make that change? What does it maybe kind of look like? Some of them are clearer than others. Some are looking, on a path like me. My work is developed, and my goal now is to take it in a bigger and more brilliant way into the world. So that's my path. Some people, it's still pretty amalgamous of, I just kind of feel low energy. I've got clients who come and they don't have any vision at all right now. They're still stuck in the trap of just being exhausted by a crazy past year, exhausted by all the roles that we've been serving up until now, exhausted because we're kind of, as women, oftentimes caught in these cycles of serving everybody aside from ourselves. Good morning, Renee. Beautiful you. So yeah, we get caught up in these cycles, and this is who we are as women. But now we've got this beautiful calling and this beautiful opportunity with the divine feminine way of being that's coming in, divine feminine power. It's a way for us to manifest in our lives in a way that doesn't have to involve all that hard work, all that figuring it out, all that doing it alone. We're strong, independent, we're smart, we're successful. And that's been our superpower. It's been great that we've been able to adapt and build those strengths, and we want to keep those. We get to pack those and bring those with us as we head into the future. But it's also not necessarily a natural way of women showing up in the world. What if we could blend those beautiful characteristics with this ability to come at life with a different way? We are wired to come from the heart space, to come from intuition, to come together in community and collaboration, to uplift one another. We get to do this in a way that honors our personal ourselves. It's time for us to put ourselves as a priority, making self-care and pulling ourselves up as a priority, where once we thought it to be selfish, it's no longer selfish. This is the way we get back to our docking station. We power ourselves up, so now we can take our goodness out into the world in a big and beautiful way. So I'm just going to dive right in because share the again. I'm having a little challenge with my computer because of the rain. The bottom part of my computer still is the screen. The buttons are not exactly working. So I don't have the share button. Here we go. Whoops, it's day 4, day 5. Here we go. Oops, and here's a sneak peek. I am still on the day 1. I'm going to hit on this real quick. Day 1, we were talking about living your passion, and the worksheet that I put in that handout here is one of the most important things. If you did nothing else from these 5 days, if you would just print out this one sheet and do this, commit to doing this every day for 30 days, the clarity and momentum that you would create would be astounding. And this is some of the things that we just forget to do. I think we've all heard some of these success principles, like if you write down your goals and you have them in your pocket. You've heard the study about the Harvard people who did that, and it's like the 6% that had those written goals in their pocket, always easily accessible, and where they visited them all the time, they were 90% more successful than the rest of the people. And I think it was Princeton. I'd have to go back and check, but I think it was, a very Ivy League success-oriented kind of group. And so
it was
this
Harvard,
is the practice
Kathy.
we need. We've
Harvard.
all heard that, but
yeah,
how many of
right.
us actually do that? Lee, actually, would you mind saying that again? I want to understand what's going on with my computer, because what happened is my speakers got fried last night. So I need to turn, I know. I need to mute me on this one. Hold on.
And it was Harvard. You were right about the university. It was Harvard. And now, Kathy, you're muted. You're still showing up as muted, at least for me. You're muted. I can see your mouth going, but we can't hear you now.
Okay, I can't quite. I can't quite figure out the right combination here because this just happened. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
sound good.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep myself muted over here so I can hear you guys. But anyways, I'll turn it up when you guys are ready to talk. So we'll just have to be very distinct about when those transition times are. Thank you for letting me know. And thank you for the input that it is Harvard that was doing that. But those little practices, guys, this is the key to the kingdom. It's like, it's I was going to say the 80-20 rule, but honestly, it's probably the 5% of the effort. We're doing so much. And I think that's part of the frustration for us as women, because we are so strong and independent, and we've had our successes in so many regards. We've been the moms, we've been those successful career ladies or, entrepreneurs. And then we get these areas in our life. It's just like this one sticking point. And why can't I figure this out? We're strong, we're capable, we're resourceful. We've done the personal development work. We've done the forgiveness work. We've done all these things. And there's still this area. Maybe it's a relationship for someone. Maybe it's body for another. Why can't I figure this out? And that's the exact sticking point, is this bit about trying to figure it out. So what we're trying to create right now is a different mode of creation. It's got to be in alignment with the divine feminine, which is actually some of this work that we've done. And I'll recap a little bit about it, but I think I might actually, because we had some people right towards the end that were interested in joining in, and I know they couldn't do 5 days. So I might do like a 2-hour recap to just kind of ingrain this one more time for the newbies diving in. But for us to be able to vision who that is, that future self. So like we did it in day one, feels like weeks. Day one was this future self. 1 year from now, you just had the most amazing day, the most amazing year. Like, what is happening in your life, and get that to where it's vibrating in your body. For me, my body is vibrantly alive. I'm radiant. This exact model that I'm just beginning to experiment and rolling out, and everything is clicking. The business is flowing. My groups, I'm just getting amazing results with everyone who's coming through. My guy and I, Rick, have just completely, through this own process, helped us to communicate through some of the sticking points in our relationship, and that's blossoming. We're traveling, we've got the adventure, we've got this, that, and the other thing. And when you start to even just share that share the top 7 sentences about what that looks like, you can actually feel that change in your body. And that's what we talked about in day 2, is the vibration of bringing this about. How do we create this into reality? Now we've got this future self, and she is real. She exists. That ask and ye shall receive. She is in your vortex. She's alive. She's well. And we get to tap into her anytime we want, because we are spiritual beings having this amazing human experience. We're actually more spiritual, and there's all kinds of, I like to think there's 10,000 angels up there waiting to help us. And it's our job to remember. We get to ask them to come down and help, and nobody else is remembering. That's another one of these things. Write down your goals, have them accessible. The other thing is that there's an abundance of support available to us, and we forget to ask. Angels aren't allowed to help until we ask. So we've got to take that first step. Like the saying says, you take the first step, and then providence moves in to meet you. This is the thing. Get clear, get vibrationally excited, enthusiastic. In God I am is the breakdown of the words. Enthusiastic. In God I am. So you are becoming more and more of that God self, that God actualized gifts, talents, interests, passions, that joy that is uniquely you. So another one of the shifts, and this is the kind of thing that I'm just going to keep referencing back to La Femme Salon, because this needs to be an immersion process. The La Femme Salon, we take you deep into what it looks like to really embody, like put on the cloak of this divine feminine woman. Can you imagine imagine. I've never resonated with the word goddess, but there's just this power that comes when you are fully embodied in your powerful self. The divine feminine is a way in which we can begin to take steps towards this dream that we've been thinking. It's just maybe a little whisper for some. For others, it's a big frustration of like, dang, I've been trying to manifest this. I'm doing all the right things. I'm working hard. I'm taking the classes. I'm doing the law of attraction. Law of attraction's not working. No, law of attraction's always working. We talked about the log jam in the river. So the river is always flowing. If the river gets jammed, the river is not broken. The river is jammed. And what happens is there's one log and another and another and another. And all of a sudden you got a clunk of logs. And oftentimes we're doing the work to take the back logs off. We need to get down to the original log. And how do you know when you've gotten to the original log? If you're still stuck, you haven't gotten to the original log. And so that's the amazing epiphany, I guess, I had in the work that I began to do. And so as part of this anatomy of what the calling looks like, a lot of times it comes out of adversity. So if you are going through adversity and you feel like shit and you are depressed and you are stuck and you want to find a mountain to jump off of, congratulations. That is the place of creation. Chaos, division is a space of creation. It's a sign that there is a bigger calling. Your spiritual self is saying, there's something I am ready to create here, sister friend. I see a difference that you are here to make in the world. I want to create this difference. And that's the rub. That's depression, is this creative energy being squashed down. The anger, the resentment, like all of that is just this friction. And just like a caterpillar that goes into the cocoon in order to crystallize the, golly, just drawing a blank on the real word, but when we go through that process of becoming the butterfly, you go inward, and there is that moment in time where you actually cease to exist. It becomes like a goo in the chrysalis. That's a word, in the chrysalis. So you become all goo. And that's sometimes what's happening. And especially right now, we've had this amazing wake-up call with the COVID. A lot of us are in that uncomfortable state of becoming, which is we're in that goo state. We are unsure of who we are because our connections with who we once were, it's going away. Like we don't want to go back to that old normal, and we can't even feel back to that space. So what does it look like to set your sights on becoming that butterfly? And now the butterfly is all formed and it's still kind of stuck in that chrysalis. It takes that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of contrast and pushing to get outside, and you break free, and away comes the butterfly. And that's what we're after. So let's start. Here's the handout, the playbook, and let me know if you guys were able to access it. I think the original time, again, all the learning I get to go through this first time through creating all this, there's so many details to put the access properly. So let me know if for whatever reason you weren't able to access it. I'll post it in the Facebook group right after this so everybody can pop in there. If you go in guides, everything is neatly in there. And you can go back to all the previous days too. Each of the replays and each of the playbooks will be in the guide section day by day. So that's where we are. So just want to state this into the world. The Firestarter Challenge, a 5-day journey for fabulous 50+ women to spark greater energy, passion, freedom, and fun. And this has been an inward journey. Today's day 5, obviously. Here we are, accelerated manifestation. This is where it all comes together. Conquer your hidden fear and take life to the next level. Okay, I thought I clicked that. All right, so here we go. I don't know if any of you have done an adventure race or have any desire to do an adventure race. Maybe you'll never want to do one, but I think this is an image everybody can kind of relate to. I love this. This is from the Tough Mudder, and it's the very last obstacle that they put there. So you can imagine here, you've been running through the mud and you've been crawling under the things and you've been doing stuff, and you get to this last freaking wall and it's 12 feet high. And I am sitting down, but I am 5 foot nothing, 0. And this thing is 12 feet tall. It's more than, I'm not good with math, but it's more than double my size. And I just love this picture of it, because you get there and you're like, holy cow, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And you stand there and there's a moment in time when you're questioning, am I going to be able to do this? That looks a little high. It looks, maybe it's a little more than I better chew off. But you stand there and you kind of gain your resolve, and you're like, I am going to get up this wall. And you kind of look around and there's other people that are doing it, and some people are giving it their all and they're getting to the top. And I just love this. I imagine these people are up there, they're waiting to reach down, and they're there to grab your hand. And if you get there, they'll pull you up to where you get that leg over, and in a way you jump up to victory. But it takes 100% commitment to get to that point. And you can see you're standing there, you're kind of looking around, and some people are making it and some people aren't. So you've got evidence in both directions. Some people can make it, some people can't. And you get that moment of decision, like, which one are you going to be? And as you see, the ones that are making it all have one thing in common. They are focusing 100%, and they're giving it their all to break this. There's a little bit of gravity involved. And so that's one of the universal laws. Gravity really sucks. So you have to charge into this hill. And I can tell you this, when you're starting out, those first 2, 3, 4 feet, those are really, really long. If you want to see a big 4 feet, those first 4 feet, as you're trying to accelerate into this hill, you've got all this evidence in front of you of why this isn't going to work. And you've got the tickies of like, gravity's going to pull me back down. And yet, if you are 100% committed and you look at that hand, you can see this gal who's got it. She's got that one hand. There's all kinds of support up there. She's focused on the one hand, and she gave it 100%. There's that moment in time when you're like, uh-oh, it's starting to get tough. It's starting to get tough. And you just continue and you push through and reach that hand. And it's like, ah! Thank God somebody grabs you. You're afraid they're going to miss. This poor guy somewhere in time probably bought into his arguments for limitation more than he did of, I'm going to reach that hand. And it's kind of funny because he's actually the taller of these two people right here. So I'm going to pretend this is, I think that's a girl. But she gave it her all. And here this is someone who maybe outwardly looked like he had the makings for an easier time of success on this wall, but he didn't have that belief factor. And so that's kind of what's involved here right now for us all. Yeah, so let me scroll up just a bit to make sure, pulling it all together. And so this is the breakthrough method that I got, is that we have to have all this together all at once in order for this to happen. So the next page on here. So this has been a process for me, ladies, for me to get to where all of this came together. I think for those who heard my story, the Reader's Digest version, my mom had this stroke and perilous journey in the medical world where they were treating the symptoms. They were pulling off the backlogs and putting band-aids on them with antibiotics. And that didn't serve to heal her, because her core log was more about her soul fulfillment, a grieving for a life that she would never be able to have again because she was half paralyzed from her body. And so if we don't, whether it's a physical issue, if you've got back issues and you're doing the things to stretch and that things, continue to look for that core log. It's there. And I promise you, it's probably more on the level of a vibrational incongruence. So look at the mental, emotional aspects of what might be underneath that pain. If we're not getting to the core, it's going to speak louder and louder. Initially, it might just feel like you're exhausted. Then maybe it begins to be like a pain or something, migraines happening. If we don't listen, then it's going to get louder and louder. And like me, you're going to have it rain on your computer. So we're cute and upright sometimes with the way we listen and don't listen at the same time. So here's what I got to, though: timeless success consciousness principles, because I love studying about success and how my dying quest has been not just how do we create change, because as a holistic health coach, I was taking a broad vision and helping people with their lifestyle, but it was the behaviors that weren't changing. So they would go on a diet, and then I'd see them, they'd reach their goal, they'd look awesome in 6 months or whatever the term was. And then in a year, I'd see them and they were fluffy again. And I'm like, what is it? Why do we do this to ourselves? Because I know we don't want to become career dieters. That is not the way to joy, I assure you. And so why is it that we repeat these patterns, these cycles, and beat ourselves up? And every failed attempt is another shame, another proof of why this doesn't work for me, another block, another rock we put on our self-belief that says you're not going to be the pretty girl, you're not going to be active, and you're not going to have these things. And so we begin those dreams we have to go scale the real Mount Everest, begin to get quashed. And so by the time you hit 50, there's a lot of quashing going on. And so here we are, we're going to blast through some of that stuff today. We get to do that. All right. So here, basically, this is the process that I got to, and the reason La Femme Salon came to being is that this is an immersion. It's an energetic shifting that we need to do. We need to get to our core log and release that, but we also need to get to the place where we're practicing on a daily basis. We begin to create those routines, the rituals, the habits. We begin to rewrite the neural pathways that always said that you can't do that, or you better settle for less because you're piggy if you go for more. We get to begin to repeat that with the new messages that are going to support your dream. So again, here's kind of where I got to, is how do we break through our self-imposed barriers to attract lasting change and return to what I always knew to be possible, which was our natural state of vitality and abundance. I guess I should have read before this. So, because this is the thing within me, I think, and we all have that space within us, that space where your truth, the truth that you want to share with the world is in here. So Jones is coming up, and hers is going to be about bringing people together and how food should be enjoyed and how community and connection is at the core of our being. And I can't wait to see this message blossom from her soul out to the world. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And I think we should all join around the table when she starts doing some of these launch parties. Hint, hint. So let's see. So this is one of the deep knowings that always a truth that I always knew, is that we're destined and deserving to have a vibrant health. And we've got amazing bodies. These things are miraculous in their ability to heal. Happiness is a God-given right. Everybody has that ability. And we also have the choice every day to choose joy and happiness. And then thirdly is that our nature out here, I can look out the window in my park, there's all kinds of abundance. And I know that abundance is there for us too. And the only reason, if in any area, me included, if you're not experiencing the level of abundance that you want, the level of abundance of health, of energy, of love, connection, friends, money, careers, clients, whatever that looks like for you, if there's anywhere you're experiencing less than what you know to be truly awesome, you're pinching yourself off from that flow. And you can choose whatever level you want. Just want to say, if you're looking to level up and have more of that, more flow, we want to go here. So I just wanted to kind of put it back, because I've been talking about some of the universal principles a bit and talking in terms of vibration. And I kind of felt like, gosh, I feel like I'm going into some woo-woo land and I'm going to be talking all esoteric. And it's like, no, this is time proven principles, like of the best success masters. And so who comes to mind when you think of the best success guy? But to me, Napoleon Hill. And I've done a lot of study around his book, Think and Grow Rich. How many have read this book? How many adore this book, right? It's time tested. It was 70 years ago, and this book is still right here. It's still rated number 6 on Business Week's magazine's bestseller list after 70 years, number 6. And it's also, here we go, the number 1 best-selling book on personal wealth and lasting success. And again, he had that same passion. So I found this beautiful graphic. I'm going to see if I can blow this up a little. Oh, yeah, there we go. So yikes. I'm not sure if I can read all this, But I wanted to include this visual, and we don't necessarily need to go through each of these 13 principles, but I wanted to make sure that we understand, like, these are timeless principles and universal truths about how the steps required in order to have success. And if you are missing one of these, it's a weak link in the chain, you'll get towards it and maybe not entirely there. So if you want to have the breakthrough, and that's what we're talking about today, is accelerated manifestation. If you can, like the wall is there and you're ready to run up the wall against gravity, that's what we're doing. We're fighting the gravity of all the reasons that we can't, or the normal pace in which success can come to you. You have that moment where you collect that gumption and make sure that these elements are all in place. And so I'm going to go through them. It's going to be a little hard to read, I'm afraid. So desire. We want to have faith. And we've talked about all of these this week. Faith, to me, I'm equating also with belief, that personal belief that you are the one. Because as I mentioned, day 2, we were talking about emotions and all the emotions that we personally, when I'm doing individual healing sessions with people, the common themes that are coming up over and over again, it comes down to 4 main ones. Am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I enough? And is it safe? And so we have these individual blocks, but then we're also subject to this crazy collective, I call it the pea soup. We're all swimming in this pea soup of I'm not worthy. And then you throw a COVID rock on top. Like, it's a big mush soup, right? So we need to get back and get super diligent about stoking the flames of our own personal belief before anything. Make sure, number 1, that your belief is in order. You're clear on your desire. The auto suggestion that he's talking about is what we were saying about when we were talking about thoughts, the power of our thoughts, the power of thinking, the power of your ability to rewire maybe all the ways in which we've been limiting ourselves thought-wise. Okay, maybe we've got a glass ceiling because nobody in my family before has made more than 150,000 a month. That would be great. I wonder if that was a great floor. That can be my challenge, huh? But no one in my family's ever earned more than $150,000 a month or a year. So why should I? How can I? Who am I to? It's like, well, who are you not to? So we begin to recondition the brain. And thankfully, we're lucky these days. Consciousness is rising. This can happen. The shift, the energetic release can happen faster than ever. And we're also learning, like, on a science standpoint, the beautiful work of Joe Dispenza. He lets us know the hope of how the neural plasticity that our brains, the literal channels of neurons that are firing together and learning to wire together, we actually can shift those. And so it takes a repetitiveness exposure. And that's why having the goal card is a beautiful thing. That's why I'm inviting you to do that Living Your Passion worksheet every single day. That's putting new auto suggestions in there. I can do this. This is where I'm going. This is happening. So specialized knowledge. And in this little coffer, I'm going to add in there some of the things that we're talking about is just the knowledge about how success is created. But you might have special knowledge, like sorry, Joan, I keep picking on you, but as she wants to come out to the world, she might have other specialized knowledge, like how do I do a website? How do I begin to write a blog? There might be special knowledge, and we can begin to take the baby steps in that direction and avail ourselves to the synchronicities and the angels playing with us and dropping in a synchronicity here or a rendezvous there with the chance person who's going to give you just the information that you require. Imagination, we talked about the power of our ability to bring that image to life, that visualization, how we practice that over and over again. Our mind does not know the difference between something imagined and something that is happening right now. All too often, we are entrained, primal requirement to stay safe, we are entrained to use our brain towards negative, rehearsing the things that might bring us down, the dangers that are out there, the fears of success, the fears of failure. So think about this yourself. Please start chiming in the chat. Like, what if some of this is landing? What is a fear or maybe the positive side, what's an imagination you want to put into practice right now that's going to bring you in the direction of your dream. So the organized planning, this is still, sorry, Napoleon, this is a little masculine, and it's worked great up until now. For me, I would feminize the organized plan a little bit. We don't want to get overly caught up in the thinking piece of that, because when we think we're smart enough that we've got it figured out, like I want to have the love of my life and it is with this one individual and it's Rick and it's no one else but Rick. It's like, there might be Johnny over here who's got all these other attributes that I've been looking for. And not only does he mountain bike and scuba dives, but he's got, a chateau in Tuscany that could go have our retreat in. So, so let's make the plan, but at the same time, an openness to allow the magic to come in at the same time. We talked about persistence of showing up regularly. This is a practice. This is, you're running up the wall. There's that point, like you better keep running, because if you let go now, you're going to wind up further back than where you began. And Napoleon Hill was probably the first to really bring out this notion of the mastermind. Mastermind is a word right now that's kind of being bastardized. It's being used for a lot of group coaching stuff. And I use that word coaching also very loose, because to me, coaching is a process in which, in its purest form, is about asking the individual questions that allows them to connect to the truth and find their own answers within. And so that's what coaching is. And if you're in a group program and you've got 100 people, or you got 30 people and you're all being coached at the same time, you truly are not being coached. So some of these words are just being thrown around in ways that really bring us away from the powerful essence of which they are. And to me, a mastermind is actually more of a spiritual principle. It's missing. I think that the common usage is missed out on the spiritual aspect of this. What happens, the magic, when two or more people come together with the shared intention. It's like the power of intention, and then multiplied, because now you're coming in with others who are able to hold that high vibing vision of what's possible for you in your life. You're holding it for them at the same time, and we amplify that together. It also becomes the mastermind. You come together for this mastermind, and you're connected with the divine mind, where you get downloads and information and resources that present themselves in ways that wouldn't have not if we are we're still stuck in that going it alone, strong, capable woman mode. So super important for us to come together in a way that a true mastermind is elevating this ability to get divine guidance. Sex transmutation. These days that could maybe connote some other things, but what he's talking about, though, is sexual energy is like one of the strongest energies we have. And he's talking about, instead of philandering or whatever, spreading your energies through sex, of channeling that creative energy that sex is and putting it into your project. For me, I would kind of like to rework that a touch, because we women in our 50s, it might be a time where the change has taken us away from where we're having sex. So I want to say part of this process should be go out and have great sex again and do whatever you need to do. I can hook you up with some great healers if you're having some hormone issues, but I can tell you, if you're going through this process, you're living your passion, your body's going to balance and your hormones are going to align naturally, like the real natural balance for hormones. And if you got issues, we'll still get you there, because whatever issue you're facing, there's always a solution. We just need to continue to ask the question until we get to the core issue. So have more sex, ladies. We need to be in our sexy, saucy selves, a little sassy, so that when we come out to the world, we're alive. We're alive. There's a vital life energy and a connection that comes together when we have great sex. Note to self. Okay. And the subconscious mind, we touched on that quite a bit already, so I'm kind of almost going to leap over that. But truly, if you're limiting yourself, it's because there's something a little ticky somewhere that we need to go in, excavate a bit. And guess what? this doesn't have to be a hard process. It doesn't have to be unpleasant either. Sometimes we think about, those childhood wounds, and maybe there's old stories. I work with a lot of women, and it's surprising how many of us have big traumas, like sexual traumas, or things like, I had one group, and it was uncanny, the number of abortions that women had had. And you can imagine the shame associated with that. And how many years ago was that shame? We put that on there, and we've been carrying that around for 10 or 20 or 30 years, and it becomes pretty darn heavy by the time you get here. And so again, that's kind of the power of coming together for one another, is that when we witness that shame, like Brene Brown, just bring that shame up to life. All we need to do, we don't need to push or prod or change anything. We just need to witness the shame and allow it to be seen in the light, and it dissolves itself. And I can tell you that shame is like the number one killer of dreams. It can put into place all kinds of protection mechanisms, or I call it the mask of gaiety that we put on to look right on the outside for everybody else, because we don't want them to know the truth of who we are. We don't want to be seen as an imposter because we've got this thing in the closet and we're leaving that behind. But I'm going to go out in the world and make my success. It's like, no. We need to go back and check the foundation upon which our beliefs and our thoughts and our vibration is coming from, because truly the end result, the woo-woo side of this, is that we want to become a vibrational match for that which we want to achieve. And so that's the segue into this brain pit part. So the brain is always, I like how he says, the brain is a broadcasting station of thought vibrations. So the thoughts that we're thinking, every single thought is a creative little mechanism where beep, beep, little message we're putting out to the world. So if you're unknowingly putting one out there like, oh, who would want to work with me? Or my dad said I better play safe and keep a foot in the safety zone. Oh, those are mine. Whoops. Then, if you're secretly broadcasting that, you might be not even be aware that it's happening. But so we'll go back and clean this stuff up, this old poop. And then there's that sixth sense that we were talking about yesterday. This is intuition. And this is where the super magic happens. This is the guy on top of the Everest wall, that hurdle. They're reaching down to help you. There's the support that's available to us, but we have to tune in. And it's hard because we live in a crazy world. It's busy, busy, busy out there. We've got the social medias. We've got, hundreds of thousands of broadcast information coming at us, and we can only take in 60,000. So how can you find space in all of that? Well, that is part of the work, if you will. That's part of the blisscipline, is to create that space for yourself every morning, every evening, whenever you can. It doesn't have to be a lot, but we have to create that space to be able to connect, so we can hear that sixth sense that is looking to assist us. And don't forget to help, ask the angels to reach down and give us a little helping hand. So gosh, I would really like to invite, does anybody want to chime in with a little something about what's coming up? Anything, anyone? And I think what I need to do is all right, this might be a little trickier than I can do today, since my techno glitchiness, self-imposed, mind you, right? What if everything is happening exactly based on the vibes that we're putting out? So on what level I get to go back now and do my own damn work of how did I keep myself from broadcasting the message I truly want to share? So somewhere in here, I've got a lot limiting thinking. And the exciting part of that is once I clear that up, I'm more integrated. Those pieces of myself that is still running some old dad stories where he told me that, I'm not good enough to do these creative things or make a difference, or oh my gosh, healer ladies, we, and I was inviting us all to consider ourselves as healers and coaches and teachers and uplifters, and really to use the term light workers, because we are here to shine our light. And we have come in, especially people who are healers, we've come in with so much karmic beliefs and blocks and challenges about getting paid, being seen, being safe, being seen, earning money for doing good work in the world. We want to give everything away, but remain in the darks so that we don't get tarred and feathered again, because it's really not a good way to end. And so we have a lot of karmic stuff. And this is the difference in the kind of work that I do. It's not just coaching stuff. A lot of the things that are coming up in the sessions that I work with ladies in, it's these old karmic things. So if you have been pushing and smart and got the plan and you got all these things in place and you're wondering, why is my business still not taking off? There is some old things, and the belief might be that it's not safe to be seen, for instance, and that might not be yours. It might be generations deep. And so we can go in, and it might have just come from your parents. So it's just that one level deep. It might have been, I'm finding things. I found one in myself. It was 40 freaking generations deep. So how can I in this lifetime endeavor and plan and work hard enough to overcome a gravitational pull that is that deep? And so it's awesome, because when you cut that cord, all of a sudden, boom, you're more integrated, you're more powerful and ready to step forward in creating the abundance exactly as you wanted. And so this is one of the quotes in Napoleon Hill's book that always stood out to me. And I was just fascinated. He says, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they've been hiding during all those lean years. And so this is where I want to challenge that post that I saw yesterday that said, change your life in a year. I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of funny. I don't even work in packages with people, because I don't think you should have to devote to like 6 months or a year. Like, programs are wanting you to commit for that long. And I can understand their perspective of that. It takes time and effort to move in that way. But it's like, I want to see a change so that I get proof soon that it's working, and it elevates my confidence so that I create a momentum that now it gets easier and easier. Like that hill when you're first starting, man, it's pretty tough, and it's going to be tough, but you get that space of momentum. And that's the magic. When you get that momentum moving in the direction of your dreams, the angels now are the wind beneath your wings. Like, that's where we get to create, and that's where accelerated manifestation comes. So I'm not going to run through all of this. What I did next was to create a worksheet. And again, I'm so sorry that this is a little bit hard to see. Let me see if I can get it. I'll go to 100% here. Yeah, so what I did was take some of the principles, rather than using all 13, I kind of narrowed it down to the 9 principles that I use. And I'm not seeming to be able to scroll. Okay, computer, how much can we do today? What's another way of doing this? I'll go to whole page, and then, nope, not going to work that way. Ooh, look at that. All right, we can be resourceful. Yeah, so I kind of narrowed it down to 9 steps and made a worksheet out of this. So you can kind of journal along and kind of fluff out those areas. Some you're going to, and maybe a lot of these, ladies, we've been doing this work for a long time. You've got a lot of the pieces in place. It just hasn't come together as a cohesive plan, because somewhere there's that initial log is still keeping you back from having the vibration of being the vibrational match of that which it of that which it that we want to achieve. I'm laughing because my boyfriend came over to try to help me with my computer last night, and I had this on my hand, and it's a 5 and an F and a K, and he's like, what is that? 5FK. And I just had a coaching session. I've got 2 different coaches I'm working with right now for my business, because now I have this vision. I want to create a pathway for more and more women to come into this group, because I'm so amazed and delighted with the outcomes that women are getting from working in this group. And so one of the girls, she's awesome, because she works along these principles too, the law of attraction, and helping me to get in the vibration. And so the vision, my future me in this regard is, she calls me 5-figure Kathy. So it's 5-figure a month is what I'm going to be earning all the time. And that's just my natural state of being. I make 5 figures a month easily. And guess what? I'm not doing it by overworking. I've created this beautiful alchemic chamber, and I bring groups through. It's joyful. And we were laughing yesterday. She's like, because she's so aligned and in the work. So we're actually we work both ways, and I'm helping her release some stuff with old clients. she was attracting clients that she wasn't enjoying working with. So we released some of her logs, and now she has an abundance of clients that bring her complete and utter joy to work with because of some of the old stories she had in place. We took those out, and now we created a red velvet rope policy that only those people that are completely aligned and that she's going to enjoy. So that's a huge key here. We get to choose based on joy. Does this bring me joy? Does this feel like expansion for me? Does it feel like a contribution for me to work with this person? And so we were laughing yesterday because the way in which we're creating our work is that it's not work anymore, because this brings me fully alive. I am so aligned in my passion right now to bring this work and help women to discover this for themselves in their life. Because and this is it. Once you understand these principles, and again, you know a lot of this stuff, we're just putting it together in highlighting a couple areas to allow this to come together as a cohesive plan that's really going to gel and really give you that vroom, the fire that you need to get up that last wall. It doesn't feel like work. And she's now proclaimed that she is retired because she's not going to work anymore. Even though she's going to be bringing her good gifts to the world and working with clients, she's not going to work anymore. So she's proclaiming that she's retired. I just love that. So anyways, she's retired. I'm five-figure Kathy. And this is the way we create these little personas, these new identities that work for us. They're confabulations was the word I used on day 3, confabulations, because the stories that we are telling ourselves are things we completely made up. So why don't we, if you're going to be making up stories, make up a story that absolutely supports and uplifts what it is you want to create. So confabulate yourself a new identity that is in matching with the crazy goal that you seek to put together. So I'm just going to run real quick through these. This is really meant to be a worksheet that you can play with. But the futurescaping, again, this is what we've done through these last 5 days. So this is kind of a review of where we've come. So who's the me, get it to that vibrational state. What does she look like? What does she feel like? Who's she dating? How many times is she having sex? Let's get it juicy, girls. Step 2, turn up the intensity by Napoleon Hill. Be a burning desire with a definiteness of purpose. So burning desire, that focus, man, I am getting up that hill. This is what it looks like on the other side. I am not going to have this extra 10 pounds in 6 months from now. There is no other way, whatever it takes. I am getting the right answers, the support, solutions. I'm going to do what it takes to get there. Number 3 is release any low vibing thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and identities. So we've this is a repeating kind of a thing, right? And let's see if I can figure out how to view what this one would be. Okay. Practice that vibration every day. That's what the worksheet is. And I included it again because it's that important. I included that sheet of living my passion. Fill that out every day for 30 days and change your life, ladies. This one is just practice that vibration. And so I've got a couple prompts for you to fluff out some of that. Tune in and trust your intuition. And this is the part I wanted to put in uncommon steps. So the common is the comfort zone that we're all living in. The magic that we're looking for is going to come in some of those uncommon and uncomfortable, unfamiliar steps. So get uncomfortable and create a new relationship for yourself to what it means to be outside that comfort zone. That means I'm in the creation zone. That means I'm in the magic zone, right? Instead of, now I'm unsafe because I'm outside of the known, we need to script this. And those kinds of relationships are what happens when we repeat that. And a structure like being with La Femme Salon is exactly what we do. We're all cheering each other on. We're reinforcing those new patterns we're creating. Hey, I did something really crazy. I made a crazy choice. This defies logic. This defies what all my friends are saying. I'm going to bring this back to this group of beloved power partners because they see my truth and they're going to help me celebrate this crazy thing I just did. That's exactly the step you needed to break the old monotony of that previous identity. Joe Dispenza, break the pattern of being you, breaking the habit of being you. Beautiful stuff. So number 6, release and trust the universe has my back. So, and that was the book what do you call it? The phone wallpaper I put into the Facebook group as a gift to everyone is my favorite mantra from Abraham Hicks. Everything is always working out for me. What would you do? How would you show up if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the universe is everything's always working out for you? Everything. For me, my computer getting rained on, that is working out for me. Pissed me off. It's making me get resourceful. I'm also going to look at the other things in my computer setup. It's probably time for me to get a new computer, but I'm also having to sit on my couch because my internet is not strong enough. So I got pissed off enough. I'm going to make all of this right. Before we're always trying to make things, pull it together and kind of bootstrap it together and make it work. No, it's time for me to be 5-figure Kathy. What kind of technology would she be running? She's not using this computer now, especially now, that's got no speaker. So let's see. Number 8, look for and celebrate. And this is one of the magic girls. Look for and celebrate all the ways in which it's showing up. And this is something we as women haven't been taught to do. We don't acknowledge ourselves. It's tough. It's uncomfortable. We can't even accept a sincere compliment from someone else, So how are we supposed to sometimes shine our own light, be willing to promote yourself in business? Oh my God, how hard is it sometimes to sell? That's challenging because we don't want to be seen as arrogant or full of ourselves or all these other things that would risk us being connected to others. What would other people think if I'm out there tooting my horn? Who would I be? But when we come together, and again, this is the magic of a structure like La Femme Salon. Every week we come together and we celebrate the evidence. We've got all this evidence, like climbing up the wall, all the people who can't make it. We want to come up and we want to be celebrating. I just saw evidence in this way that this is happening. And that's one of the mantras we use. We have this little celebration thing and we do it in our bodies. We move our bodies and affirm. So it's like an NLP kind of technique of this is happening. This is happening. This is happening. And when you say that 100,000 times to yourself, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So we need to create that momentum again. And then surround yourself. This is the mastermind concept with those mentors. And I call them the dream keepers. There's somebody who can see into your soul and know, heck yeah, man, Leah's going to take this business into a global business is what she's building. And she's got this amazing tribe of women who are on fire to help other women live in their full vitality. Like that's what this girl does. So make sure you reach out and get to know this woman. Surround yourself with people that are like that. They say you become the average of the 5 people that you're hanging out with. So who are you hanging out with? And especially if you're ready to up level, then it's time to up level your friends. You don't have to leave the other ones around, but just know unconsciously they might be doing things and having thought vibrations that are actually negatively impacting what it is that you're striving for. And so that, my friends, is the worksheet. Again, the next page, I repeated the living your passion thing. So you got it handy so that you know to want to make it convenient so that you'll actually do it. I would love to support you in that. It's been my pleasure to create this. It's been a stretch personally for me to do this. It's definitely outside of my comfort zone, but it's been a lot of fun. And what I've done here is to share with you my best tips and the tools and the strategies that I use personally and with my groups and individuals on how to step into your power. But that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the journey. And so the invitation becomes to consider stepping into something like La Femme Salon. It's 10 weeks to find your fire, freedom, and fulfillment. And this is how you stay in that vibration. We practice that vibration. We up level those thoughts. We celebrate. We surround you and give you the wind beneath your wings. So now you're ready to soar and beautiful, magical things happen. And we want to be able to stay in that until your dream manifests. And that's the rub I like to give, is that we can do this faster than ever. Thank you to Joan, who was kind enough yesterday to hop on because she went through my very first group. When I first came together with La Femme Salon, she was part of my crash test dummies group. And she came in not really clear, afraid to kind of declare what she wanted. So she picked a secondary goal of residual income, but that's a fun goal. And so, well, what's the time frame in which you want to do that? And she was like, we were meeting and starting in November. And she's like, well, maybe next September. I'm like, okay, that's a long ways away, but okay, we'll start with that. She was moving into her new property. She bought a beautiful, if you're from this area, Belmar, she bought a beautiful townhome over there, great investment, and was moving in the end of January. And she got it with just $3,500 down because she set this intention and availed herself to some amazing synchronicities that came her way because she asking it is given, so we aligned with these universal principles. Anyways, it all came together in a beautiful way. We learned these principles and now we get to go back. Now she's got a new goal of creating this business, whatever that looks like. Doesn't see herself as an entrepreneur because she's never been that herself. Her family's never been like, who is she to think of herself in this way? And how much fun it is to come together in a way and create that together. So I'm going to shut up and ask you guys to chime in. Let's see if we can figure out the right combination. I'm going to mute here and unmute here so that I can hear.
Thanks, Kathy. I've got just pages of notes. I can't wait to print off and try the 30-day living my passion. I do my own little sort of gratitude journal and prayer journal each morning, but this is going to just focus it a little bit more, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you for sharing all this.
Awesome. We get to go for a walk later. Terrific. Renee, you want to chime in with anything?
Yeah, I do. This was really fantastic, Kathy. I'm really impressed with what you've put together. And just like Lee, I'm excited about that Living My Passion worksheet and doing that daily. I do think that's going to make a difference. And I have read, not in completion, Napoleon Hill's book. So I think just going back and reading that again and having it reiterated is really helpful. And I like that. I love the concept of just having people around to actually see you and see your dreams and then hold you accountable to get there. Because I think, like for me personally, the accountability has been missing. Some of the clarity, though, has been missing too. And I think working with people and having that mastermind concept focused on me would be really helpful. You're on mute.
Renee, I'm going to get out Napoleon Hill's book again too. That's a really good idea to reread it.
Yeah.
While Kathy's getting unmuted. We can see on the screen the microphone, so we can, we can see. Oh, there.
It's so strange. I don't know why you can't hear me from my phone. So I'm going to do it this way. Bob Proctor, Bob Proctor from The Secret, and he's one of the biggest success kind of guys, universal principle. He reads a passage from Think and Grow Rich every single day, and he's done it for 70 years. So it's something that we can't immerse ourselves in enough. So if somebody is masterful, as Bob Proctor has seen value in continuing to feed his mind and his image, his ability to visualize with these principles, then we all will benefit from this. And so I'm going to just invite you. The La Femme Salon is going to be, the next group is going to be launching I think what I'm going to do is do an extra kickoff session just to get everybody in this vibe again. And this is truly what it's about. So it's a 10-week immersion, and the secret sauce in all this, I don't throw in, the other coaches, like I was saying, they do the group stuff and you don't shift. I know this because I participated. There was somebody I just love her. She's used to be a Unity minister and she's just fabulous. And I signed up for her year-long program, and I'm sneaky. I have gremlins and they are masterful at hiding. And if I don't have one-on-one, I need somebody to hold my feet to the fire. And that wasn't happening. I paid a lot of money, let's just say, for this program. And my sneaky little bastards made it all the way through without being addressed. And so we need the individual attention with that. And we need the small groups so that we can say, you know, like my coach did to me yesterday, you're that thing right there. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, oh yeah, yep, there it is. There it is. We get to laugh at this when we come together. And so I keep the group between 6 and 10 women. It's just the right size because we need some where when we come together, those shame stories, when we bring those up and bring them to light for one another, it's interesting because everything happens for a reason. And the groups that come together seem to have core woundings that end up being similar. And so when we bring that up together, it's like, holy guacamole. I had a 10,000 pound piece of poop that I've been carrying around for decades that I didn't even know was really there. I thought I had dealt with that. I went through therapy, damn it. And here it still is. It's coming up. So yes, it's coming up. We got to get to that core log. And that is the shift. That one above everything else is that you've got to get to that one core log. And so it's small enough that I can, I can see and watch that for a small group like that. We meet twice a week, which is more than you'll see in other areas. We meet twice a week because we're looking for that vibrational upliftment. We're calibrating. The rest of the world is not calibrated at a level 10. We want you to level 10. So you match that level 10 vision that you've got for your life. So that's the twice a week thing. It's not a lot of information. This is reiterating core principles you've already known, you've touched on before, gonna, just like we've done here, put them together in a way that becomes this cohesive runway for you to run in the direction of your dreams. So it's gonna work in your favor. You understand, you already know a lot of this stuff. We're gonna allow you to embody it in a way that you can run 100% towards up that wall, right? We're going to defy gravity here together. We're going to have some crazy notions. We're going to make some really illogical choices, perhaps, and it's all going to pan out in the end for us because we are supported. We're supporting one another. We get to see and call out our blind spots. We get to come together and we get to celebrate the ways in which it's happening every week, twice a week. You're having somebody celebrate the way in which your dream is coming to life. And it's amazing what happens. There's a momentum that happens. And I'm so crazy. So the other thing I just wanted to say that I don't do, that other coaching programs do, is throw in a bunch of other programs. And here's the bonus, this and that and this. We don't need all the extra information. We need the transformation, and the transformation happens one-on-one. So in addition to keeping it small and cohesive, I include, is not throw in, these are intentional. This is a major piece of this transformation, is 2 individual sessions with me. In that time, one-on-one, we go in, check out the subconscious. We're doing that excavation, the energy work to go in, identify, wow, something weird happened when you were 2. This might be before you were even consciously aware. There was an energy that came up. We created as a child a meaning that we ended up carrying on in our subconscious decades. That's kept us playing, like me, my dad, playing in the safety zone. And now, I don't know if y'all were around for the journey, but we create a new relationship with our past too. So all those stories that seem like they were the crash and burns. My dad's story, I'm not going to go in obviously to the full thing, but he was kind of the cheating, philandering dude that started a second family, was gone, divorced my family when I was 6. So lots of wounding, lots of animosity, let's just say, towards him for many, many years. And he was the source of all that personal growth. I thought, he's the villain in my life. I take you through these processes where we all of a sudden, not only are you doing forgiveness, now he's like my superhero. I tell this story, and if you didn't hear, I don't know if it was day 2 or 3, but now my dad and I are sitting up on a cloud and we're laughing our asses off because he was an integral growth point for me to become the woman that I am. And he passed away 14 years ago, but this is the image, this is a relationship, this is the kind of rescripting that you can create for yourself. So somebody you're still struggling to forgive, or somebody who we've got protective mechanisms up. My dad said I wasn't worthy. It's like, dang right, I'm worthy. And now I don't have to fight against that. He's my friend and saying, I knew that. And so we're laughing our asses off as friends and buddies now, because it was a soul contract that we had way back when, before we came back onto this planet, right? So we get the power of rescripting, refunding these bits and pieces that fragmented. I don't have to prove my worthiness anymore because I've reconciled that part. I've brought it back into my wholeness. And of course, I'm not here to help everyone, but dang it, you know, those women who are here on this piece of the journey, we get to come together and play in a way that is so fun for me, for them. It's so fulfilling. I want nothing short of that freedom, fire, and fulfillment. And here's another key core thing is women at the age of 50, those roles and identities by which we came to success and feeding, you know, our sense of worthiness, they're changed. So now what are we going to do? So we get to re-identify, and now this life stage, I'm a Tony Robbins fan. I've done lots of studies, guys. The study with Tony Robbins, it's a new life stage that is all about contribution and this soulfulness, this spiritual exploration that now doesn't have to be this woo-woo thing that we can share with some people and not others. We get to integrate that too. Guess what? I'm this crazy soulful girl, and I'm super clear why we're all here. And I'm super clear that I'm kind of here to remind others that this is why we're here, and it's okay. We don't have to hide it in the closet anymore. We are on the soulful mission to become more of our authentic selves, this creative self that was here to grow and expand and evolve and bring our gifts, new gifts in a way that make a difference in the world. And so some people might have a big vision about changing the world and how they want to bring their gifts. Other people might just have a smaller thing. It's like, you know, but gosh, the visions that come out, they're tear-jerking about women who want to be I've got a woman who was an alcoholic who now has become a strong advocate as a nurse. She's a nurse alcoholic. How shame, stigma. 5 years sober now. She's becoming an advocate. She's got a secret desire now to teach hospitals how to move beyond the stigma of working with patients, repeated patients. Why are we judging? Why are we you know, just trying to offload these repeat offenders? Yes, they are. And here's what they need. Here's what they need. So these missions that come out, the women who want to work with kids that have had tragic beginnings, you know, these are life missions. And this is where we find our fulfillment in life, which this is what brings us fully alive. And so when we're fully alive, guess what? Those food choices about, should I have my hand in the cookie jar again? That's not longer, it's not a relevant conversation, because I'm so tuned in and turned on by my life, that cookie doesn't resonate with where I want to go. So it's going to be easier for us to do some of the things to be vibrantly alive. So when I'm talking in terms like the Firestarter, I wish it was Firestarter challenge, the tagline I had is to spark greater energy, passion, freedom, fun. Like, this is what happens is when we're connected to that vision that's more a whole us coming to the world fully expressed and giving back in a way that's meaningful to us. Dang, you just hit it out of the ballpark, girlfriend. So that's the fun. That's the journey that I'd love to invite you to. If you want to have the conversation, that's the next piece. I keep the groups cohesive. I want to make sure that everybody's at that point. You know, a lot of people, it's easy to think that you're ready, and sometimes you're not as ready as you think. So I want to make sure that everybody's ready to have that explosive growth, because we witness that, we model it for one another, and we witness it for one another. And so when the group comes together, oh my gosh, that's the other thing. The girls, the women, boy, when you come together, and like I said, a lot of women have not had a chance to have good, supportive friendships. And some of them, I swear, that's like the biggest thing they come out with from this, is just knowing they can trust other women. Like, it's almost like a foreign concept to them. But the magic of that coming together, and the friendships are bonded, trust me, and there'll be lifetime friendships that you'll develop from this. It's extraordinary. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I have a 10 o'clock, so I need to
Hold on
run.
a second.
Oh, she can't hear me.
I'm in.
Okay, can you hear me now? Thank you, Kathy. I have a 10 o'clock, so I need to run. But I would love to have just a one-on-one quick conversation with you at some point, just to talk about more. And I will definitely be going into looking at your playbook, because I think that's just really neat. So I know you and I are connected on direct messenger, so we can talk, but I would love to have a one-on-one with you just to chat a little bit more. Okay.
And
All
I'll
right.
see you later today, Kathy. And Renee, nice meeting you.
Good to meet you too, Lee. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.